All right. Hello, class, and hello, professor. This is my second and last video discussion board post for my anthropology class. I actually have to admit that I'm a bit sad to see them go because I actually really enjoy these projects. But anyway, the hominid that I chose to research today was the Sahelanthropus chadensis, which was very difficult for me to figure out how to say, by the way. On to the questions. Oh, yeah, wait, I have to show you a picture. So, here's a picture of the Sahelanthropus right here. Because it's so old, nothing postcranial has been discovered. Postcranial means anything other than the skull. That particular skull was known as the Tumai, which means hope for life or hope of life. That fossil was actually found in Central Africa, and more specifically in the Toros Manala region in the Jurab Desert, which is in Chad. By the way, I have my notes again, so hope that's cool. You said it was cool last time. On to the next question. Are any of the fossils from this species famous or well-known skeletons representing the species? Yes. I'll show you a picture again. So like I said, this is known as the Tumai. This is pretty much all that's been found. I mean, there's been a few skulls found, but nothing really more in depth than this. You can't really tell too much about it from the skull, but you can see that there is a much larger brow ridge than anything ever seen before. A man by the name of Michael Brunet and four of his colleagues are actually the ones who discovered this. The creature's fossils date to 7 to 6 million years ago. And at the time of discovery, Mitchell used cosmogenic nuclide dating to determine age, and newer studies and newer researchers and paleontologists have also used radioactive decay as a means of not only confirming the age of 7 to 6 million years ago, but also just studying it in general. This hominid's brain size is of 350 cubic centimeters, which is among the smallest of all Homo sapiens, hominoids, everything in that general family tree. This can be compared to a small-brained monkey, and it actually is smaller than modern-day chimpanzees, by the way. The anatomy of the Sahelanthropus suggests that it walked upright. However, nothing's been completely confirmed. All these studies are based on the position of the foramen magnum, which is at the base of the skull. So it's not definitive, but because let's see. It's because of the spinal cord, which was below the skull rather than the rear, and this is normally only found in Homo sapiens or anything bipedal, which means walking upright. I changed the page, and I didn't need to do that. All right. The Sahelanthropus also has canine premolar chewing complex, which was non-honing. The wear on this suggests that their diet may have been similar to that of modern-day chimpanzees, and modern-day chimpanzees primarily eat fruits and veggies. There was a couple more questions on this, but because I chose the earliest one, and because of the fact that nothing postcranial has really been discovered, they're pretty much impossible for me to answer. But I did find some other fun facts online about the Sahelanthropus, and I thought I'd share them with you to make up for the lack of me being able to answer like 3 or 4 questions on here. But they have a humongous brow ridge, which is along here. It's a lot larger than even modern day apes and chimpanzees. It was pretty much completely unheard of for anything around that time. They also had a very elongated skull, more similar to human structure. They also have a lot of human-like features, which include their small canine teeth, and as I was mentioning before, is the opening of the spinal cord below the skull rather than the near or the rear. Also, based on fossil findings at the discovery site in Chad, which Mitchell and his colleagues found, research indicates that the Sahelanthropus lived in a forest near a lake. There was a lot of other animals found in that region, and this was all a huge surprise to people because no one expected life like that to be living in the middle of Africa, but they did. And so, yes, that pretty much sums up all the questions that were asked of me. I have a few references here. I, of course, used our wonderful anthropology book, so this was a big one for me. Definitely helped get all the baseline of the questions down. However, I also did a little bit more research online because not everything was in the book. The first one I had to go on YouTube and figure out how to say Sahelanthropus chidensis. It was very difficult for me. This was a YouTube video by a user by the name of Emma Sane. I also watched a documentary directed by Ben Bowie on documentarytube.com. This was titled The Search for the First Human. It's had a lot of information about pretty much everything Sahelanthropus. It was a very long video, and I watched it. I don't think it was necessary to watch all of it, but I definitely know a lot more facts about Sahelanthropus than probably anyone else in this class. So if you have any questions, Professor, I got you. I also went on wow.com and pnsa.org, which contain more in-depth information about the discovery and dating of the fossils. The book was pretty vague about it. After digging a little bit deeper, though, I was able to see exactly how they did it, and it was pretty complicated. I also went on macroevolution.net, which had a few articles about the Toumai skull, which is the widely known skull and pretty much only one, and the species in general. These were published by Eugene M. McCarthy, who is a PhD. All right, well, that pretty much sums everything up. Let me look at it real quick just to make sure I got all the questions, because I don't want to turn this in without finishing all of it. Yep, looks like I'm good. All right, Professor. Thank you once again for dealing with my awkwardness. I apologize ahead of time for it. I hope I nailed the mark on this one too. All right.